there, Stephanie Stevenson here, otherwise known as Watercolor Artiste in social media circles, and I am the artist of midlifeartist.com, and welcome to my weekly live stream. If you tried to tune in last Wednesday and I wasn't on, it's because I wasn't feeling well and I was coughing a lot more, and I didn't want to be coughing through the live stream. I know that can be irritating, and certainly for me, but also for you. And so I decided to spare y'all a coughing live stream, and myself too. It was just a night to rest, so I did. However, I did live stream on Saturday and did a charcoal drawing. I'll share that in a moment, but I wanted to welcome you to the live stream. I'm just trying to make sure everything's copacetic here. I don't know if it is or not, so I'm going to launch something here, see if it's all good. If you can see me and you can hear me, drop a hello in the chat. I would appreciate that very much. So that way I know things are working, because I am trying to make sure things are working. Because, you know, I am the queen of technical difficulties. Last Saturday, or a Saturday when I was live streaming, I ended up with weather delays, weather issues, power flickers, you name it, that's what was happening. But I managed to squeak out a live stream anyway, almost 2 hours, despite all of that. So yeah, I don't think that there's a day that's gone by in the last month where we haven't had some sort of thunderstorm go by, go over, go through. It just seems like every day there's some sort of thunderstorm. So yeah, so fun times here in Northwest Georgia. But I'm going to go ahead without much further ado. I'm going to do some news and events, because I started off real slow with what I thought I was going to do, news and events, and I'm actually going to be sharing a few things I'm happy about. So let me go ahead and move to that. Last time on Saturday, if you joined me on Saturday, then you saw that I was celebrating my father, whose birthday it was on Saturday, and that's my dad in the picture. And he is a very staunch supporter. And I had a nice conversation with him on Saturday, and he's one to encourage me to do those art festival events with the tent, and I have been making strides towards that to eventually get to some of the bigger, more professional ones, but that takes a little bit more investment than I have, so I've been working towards that. I have an event coming up in September. I'm waiting to hear back from for the Creative Arts Guild here in Dalton, Georgia, where they have an arts, excuse me, still coughing a little bit, an arts festival that kicks off the third weekend in September. And in the past, I hadn't done the tent event portion of that, only the exhibition. And they require a white tent. My dad went ahead and bought me the white tent as an early birthday gift. So thank you, Dad. I appreciate it. So if you happen to be watching or you watch the replay, know that I love you, and thank you for the tent. I appreciate it, Dad. If you had watched a couple of our live streams in the last couple of weeks, then you know that my husband and I were doing live streams together because in the month of July, we have not one, but two wedding anniversaries every July, because in July of 2009, we got married once officially on July 4th, and then a second time on July 25th for when family could come and see us get married. So we got married twice in July of 2009, and here we are 17 years later, happier than, you know, I was going to say something, but probably not appropriate, but we're just very happy. So, but anyway, my husband was working on this drawing that he has now completed. And as you can see on the screen, this is a character for my sister-in-law, who plays a fast spot in his tabletop role-playing game Mukundo 4. So if you had watched those live streams, then you would have seen that he was inking that, and then the second time around, he was coloring it on his computer during the second live stream. So just thought I'd share that with you, that those are the finished products that he's going to be giving to his sister, whose character this is. And so, yeah, a fantastic, well done piece. So awesome job, honey. Awesome job. Let's see here, and what's next? Oh, okay. Everything else is show and tell. I'm going to go back to host solo here. If you're in the chat, drop a hello and say hi. You don't have to stay. You can just say hello. But this week, I'm working on homemade greeting cards because I got these envelopes, and I wanted to practice oil pastel. So I'm working on doing some landscape practice as well as oil pastel practice. And so I'm working on these. I'm going to do a couple, I don't know, probably 5 of these, and I have to get them set using fixative. So I've got a special fixative for oil pastels. So those will be done. I just thought I'd share that out as a tip. If you're looking to practice, you do some greeting cards, homemade greeting cards that you can use for thank you cards, birthday cards, any kind of sentiment. You can practice doing something that you need to practice on. That's a good way to do it, because when you send it to somebody you love, they're going to love it no matter what. And they're going to feel very special because they are. And so I encourage you to, whatever you feel like you need to practice on, do that. It's helpful, it's small scale, and it doesn't hurt. It shows that you've taken time to do something special. So yes. And then I have here a disc. My sister-in-law, sometimes she's in the chat. I think she's taking a break from online, which I don't blame her for. But this is my dad-in-law, and he did singing. He played in a band. He was lead singer and guitarist. My sister-in-law was drummer back in the day, and then he had self-published his own CD of songs, and so we happened to get some of these discs, and I was thinking about playing this while I was painting tonight, but then I thought, I don't know if YouTube would have a hissy fit, because you know, and I don't want to get into trouble. So anyway, we're excited that we found some of these. He's got some great music. It's also on YouTube, and I know that I have posted about it. So is my husband Ron and my sister Lisa. So if you're interested in knowing where to hear that on his YouTube channel, let us know. We'll throw that in the comments down below. All right. The next thing I wanted to share is I mentioned that my husband's tabletop role-playing game for the character that he had done for my sister-in-law this is the next book that he just got published, and so one is a limited edition and one is a production run, and it is a full color resource guide on the Zalubra people group. And so you can see that it's full color with the story, the lore, mapping. So yeah, all kinds of good stuff in here. Yeah, if you're interested in learning more about Mukundo 4, which is the name of the tabletop role-playing game, you can go to jackadooproductions.com. And we can probably put that in the chat or in the comments. He's going to have these available as well. So we just got those in since the last time I live streamed. So congratulations to my husband, Ron. We got those now. All right, a couple more things. I mentioned in the beginning that on Saturday I did a charcoal drawing. It was fan art. This is the finished good. So I did this in charcoal on Saturday on the live stream there. I've cut the paper down to size with a border and did spray fixative. And this, of course, is Leonidas from the movie 300. I love good, strong men in movies. So he's one of my faves. And then last but not least, I think this was last but not least, Saturday, I have, we're going to be going over to mom and dad-in-law's, and I'm going to be seeing Lisa and my nephew Xander. And this is a painting that Xander and I worked on about a month and a half, 2 months ago when he stayed with us. We didn't quite finish it. So I'm going to bring this with me on Saturday so he and I can finish it while we're visiting with everybody. So this is one of those works in progress. I'm not working on tonight because I can't work on it without Xander, and I'm not putting Xander on live stream. So we're going to do this together on Saturday, and whatever the finished product is, I will show you next week. But this is a collage on watercolor paper, and it's got acrylic paint and collage papers, and I'll tell you more about that story next time. So yeah, that is where that is. All right, I keep, I keep, hello Zen, how are ya? Welcome, welcome, welcome. How are ya? Just sharing all the good stuff. I don't know if you missed some of it, but I was just sharing Ron's Zalubra book has come in. He got that published. One's a limited edition and one's a production run. And so full color. I think it's 36 pages, honey? But yeah, so we got those in. We were sharing about my dad-in-law's music CD. We found those, and we put him also on YouTube as well. So yeah, it's really great. I got too many things on the floor, and that's not good. All right, so without further ado, I'm gonna get to not avoiding this painting. I have been avoiding it, and it's because I don't feel comfortable in trying to render the prophets of Baal that need to be rendered in the image, because it's an image of the prophet Elijah in his showdown with the prophets of Baal in the Old Testament, and so it's always been my opinion that it's a shame that Hollywood never did a movie about that and about Elijah, who was really blessed by God to be a prophet and was never failed by God, but so insecure. Aren't we all in some aspects? Anyway, great story, great learnings, and great showdown. And so I'm going to show here in a minute. I'm putting some paint down. I should go to my 2-view live stream here. And there you go. I put up the chat on that instead of just the featured stuff, so I don't have to keep trying to figure out what the next featured chat would be. So yeah, thanks, honey. Yeah, we'll see. I got my phone. I was going to put a picture up on my other side of the computer for my reference, but I don't want to be using too many resources, so I'm going to use my regular cell phone here with some of my reference shots, and I'm going to try to get this done. But this is my Elijah painting, where the main feature, of course, is, and this is zoomed in, so you're not seeing the full thing, but it's a very simple composition in that it's essentially centrally located. There's Elijah in front of the altar, and the column of fire being called down from heaven to consume the sacrifice that was doused 3 times over with water, including the trench around it, to give him a handicap, as it were, against the prophets of Baal. And so I had blocked in, excuse me, just some basic brushstrokes of figures on each side to represent the prophets of Baal, but certainly with no features, no rendering. And so I went ahead and painted over them, but you can still see hints of them, which is good because it'll look like they're going further back, because there was quite a few prophets of Baal in this scene. And then the other thing is I'm going to also splatter to show sparks coming out. I need to render Elijah here a little better as well. So yeah, I'm a little scared of this whole process. But what I've got going on here on Palette Cam is I've got ground white trans yellow oxide, trans red oxide, and then I've got burnt umber. And so I'm going to first try to render shapes of people in various states of distress. Because if you can imagine yourself in this scene and this huge column of fire, of forceful fire coming down and spreading out, I would think that you might be running, you might be a little scared, you might be falling, you might be, so there should be various states of stress. At first, I thought they would all just kind of be standing watching, and I'm like, that's not probably what would have happened, because this is pretty prolific, and this is what I really wanted to feature. But I do want figures that are either running, shielding their face with their hands and things like that. And so there's not going to be a ton of detail, but there needs to be enough rendering so people can register arms versus legs versus someone standing versus someone kneeling. And so this is the part of the painting that, even though there's not a lot of detail, I really have a high expectation of myself to render these figures in not profile, silhouette, so that someone can kind of register, are they kneeling, are they standing, are they turned away, what are they doing? You get a sense of their gesture without the detail. So that's what I'm hoping to accomplish. And I know that if I need to, I can paint over it if I make mistakes. I'm trying to avoid the mistakes because I'd like to get this one done. So because I got a lot of black here, I'm going to use a mid-tone, probably mid-tone yellowish brown, a mixture of these colors that will have a little bit of the ground white in it, so they will register against the darkness of this here. And then I will come in later and register the silhouette portion when it's a little drier as well. So that's my plan. I'm sticking to it. And I'm nervous as all get out. I'm going to get my apron on because dealing in oils, and I got a nice blouse on, and I don't want to get oil paint on it. So I'm going to don my Wonder Woman cape. That's right. That's right. Wonder Woman. My husband unit gave this to me a while back. I use it rather faithfully because sometimes I do feel like Wonder Woman trying to do these paintings. And I don't think I need to move my mic. Can you guys hear me okay? Give me a big thumbs up. Use an emoji, whatever. Okay. And it better be good. Yeah, big. Anyway, I'm going to mix up some color here and see what I can get for a mid-tone so it'll register against the dark, but also against the bright. So that way I'm getting them set in space of where they're standing. Are they closer to the fire? Are they further in the foreground? That's kind of stuff I've got to decide as I'm painting. Otherwise, it's not going to make a lot of sense. And I really haven't decided. And I'm a little concerned that I should have done some more sketching in the recliner over the last week to try to get a sense of how I wanted to place these figures. And I didn't quite get there. I was avoiding it, if I'm going to be honest about it. I was avoiding it because I'm not very good with this type of stuff. So we will see how it goes. Let's see. Yeah, I think that'll work. It's a mid-tone. Gonna get some Galkid. Yeah, I love you too, sweetheart. All right. I need a cup for my Galkid. These little plastic cups. I don't know if you can see that. Maybe. Are great. And if you use Galkid, it'll eventually dry up. And you can sometimes peel the unused dried up Galkid from the bottom and reuse the cup. And yeah, I'm cheap that way, but I can't get it to come off, and that's fine. I can pour some more on top of that. There we go. Galkid is a fast drying medium. If you're new to the stream, it helps the oil paint dry faster. All right, so I've got a medium tone that's made of ground white, yellow ochre, not yellow ochre, but trans yellow oxide, and then burnt umber right here. So let's see if I can get some images. I'm going to also work on Elijah. In fact, I'll start there because I think I can work on him best. So I'm going to get in my there we go. And again, I'm working in oil. So let's see what this looks like when I use. Okay, so I am going to reshape Elijah because he is definitely going to need it. So what I'm doing is I'm going to give him shoulders and have his arms out a little bit. So yeah, so well, there you go. That makes sense then. You see that? That's on the chat. He talks about how black t-shirts are the best thing for him. And it is because, you know, he is a mechanic. He gets into all kinds of grease and whatnot. So what I'm doing here is I'm just kind of giving a new shape to Elijah. I will render this better when it's a little drier, but I'm giving him hands, and his arms are a little bit more outstretched from his body. And I'm going to get that so that he is glowing around the edges because he is right close to the fire without being singed. Yeah, I'll have to get that better. I need premium titanium white to do that. So yeah. Ron wears a lot of t-shirts to the point where they almost disintegrate off of him because he wears them for so long. Not unlike his dad, although he'll kill me for saying that. But you can almost see better arms now just in that alone. Yeah, dandelion spores, that's about what it is. That is about what it is. So yeah, I'm supposed to hear back from the Creative Arts Guild jury process about the paintings that I submitted for exhibition, which is what I've done the past 3 years. And I have been able to participate in the exhibition for the past 3 years to varying degrees. This year, I submitted a full 6 painting submission because I have been painting my heart out for a while now. And last year I could only submit like 3. So that tells you I've really been kind of kicking in the afterburners. And so I wanted to get as many as one is allowed. And so that is what I did. Now, my understanding is that they will be making a decision on the juried process for the exhibition by August 10th or 11th, I think it is, which would be next week. They also have an approval process for the Art Tent Festival portion of it, which I am waiting for as well. And that's going to be my first year doing that. And so I've got a tent now. Thanks, Dad. Again, thank you, Dad, for the white tent. I got it yesterday. I haven't pulled it out of the package yet, but I will. It's quite heavy. I think it's close to 50 pounds, according to the product page. So, yeah, I'm going to have a white tent now. Thanks to my dad. I'm grateful. He also had purchased for me last year about this time my captain's chair thing, or director's chair that I sit in when I'm in my tent. So he's been very helpful for me in that regard. Okay. All right, so you can see, is this blurry on the screen? It looks a little blurry. Is it blurry for you guys? Well, I've thought about throwing out Ron's, but then he wouldn't really have much to wear, so I have to get him some more t-shirts, by the way. I'm kind of responding to some of the comments in the chat showing on the screen. So, how's your week been going, Zin? Everything going good? Still being busy, I assume. All right. All right, guys, I'm going to dive into this. Not exactly feeling confident about this. A little scared, but I'm going to try. Now, again, I'm only going to be doing blocking in shapes of figures. And then I'm going to sorry, I'm focused. Then I will try to do a little delineation of with maybe color. And what have you. This person's running. So I've got a figure here that's running in this direction based on a reference photo I'm using. Yeah, okay, so what it is that I've got it zoomed in. Okay, so it is blurry. What I'll do is I will back it out a little bit. which means you won't be able to see it as well. Let's see here. Oops, it's a little too much. You can see the figure here. They're running. They got a robe flying in the wind over here. So I'm hoping that'll register. Because he's got, this is Middle Eastern, garb, so almost like dresses, so to speak, but they're not going to have a lot of detail. So I've got to make sure that when I'm rendering this, that it has I have an ability to I don't know. We'll see. I'm not, like I said, I'm not confident. And what I'm going to try to do is I'll do one on this side and then one on this side. For symmetry, of course. I still think it's a little blurry on the screen, but I'm not sure if it's because I have it zoomed in still or not. So over here, I'm doing another guy running. Another prophet of Baal. Bailing, bailing away because they're in fear for their lives, as they ought to be, because the God of heaven and earth is raining down fire, saying, nanner, 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 or something to that effect. And so he's running, so his little robe is, because you want to catch a little bit of movement here. And again, I'm just blocking in shape. My brush, the end of my brush keeps hitting my desk. So there's another guy running away. And I think when I get these placed, I can then work on trying to render them in silhouette with some indications of detail to make sense. Like I said, I needed something that would stand out against the black, but also the white. So I've got a mid-tone going here. They all have similar, this is a reference I used from AI, and I'm not exactly, okay, some of these are different shapes. Okay, that's good. All right. So yeah, when I need figures to kind of render, and I got to keep my people roughly in proportion to the scene happening. All right, so I've got a guy on the ground I want to put Maybe he needs to be further back because he's blown down maybe. So he's going to be smaller, further back, closer to the fire on the ground. Maybe, if I can render him without. And again, some of this is only rendered based on colors and shadows and stuff like that. And this is going to actually be mostly silhouetted. So I gotta, so there's someone on the ground here facing away. Yeah, gesture drawing, really. It just looks like they're ghosts because, you know, they're not, they look like they're floating at the moment. They look like they're floating. I guess that's okay. There's another. And I know that Ron sent me some references that were helpful too. So I'm going to go back to those. Aha. All right. Some with their arms up, trying to shield their face. So yeah, last week was a rough week for us. We're doing better this week, thankfully. It was definitely a rough week, and we've got Stella now. Pretty much, she's ready now for adoption. We got help. We're getting help from our local humane society, and so we're happy about that. But it's slow going. There's just a lot of animals out there that need adoption, need forever homes, and so yeah. Uh, we're hoping someone will want her pretty quickly. Now this one's facing at the fire because they can't help themselves, but they're putting their arms up. So in an effort to shield themselves. Okay. I got to get a sense of a lot of people. So I do think I need to probably bring these echoes of those blocked in figures from the start of the painting. I probably need to bring those back in a sense. And I may do that using the transparent oxides. Hold on a minute. Felt like something on my head and then on my eye. Hopefully it's not something that'll creepy crawly me and I'll start screaming and you guys will need to block your ears. Okay. Let's see. And so I got another person. Here. You have a possum now named Noodles. Oh, that's awesome. When did that happen? Come on now. Here we go. That is true. We did. We did have that. We did watch that. I got 3 figures over here. I need a 3rd figure over here. Now that needs a little bit of, because this is not coming out very well. No, we need. Here we go. Wow. Well, there you go. Does he feed himself? Or are you guys feeding him? The possum. Let's see here. I got 3 figures, 3 figures. I'm wondering how many figures I probably need to render on each side. Then with the reintroduction of the faded figures a little bit more pronounced again, if that gets me the effect I want of the dispersing prophets of Baal, or do I need to put a whole bunch of them in? You know what I mean? I'm trying. I guess what I'm trying to say is, how many do I have to paint before I can consider this a um, representative of the prophets of Baal running away? Hey, Ray, good to see you. Good to see you. Where y'all get to watch me fumble along as I try to render these prophets of Baal in terror. I need to probably do another one on the ground, out of breath, scared to death, whatever. I'm gonna. All right. My phone's acting a little wonky. That'd be cool, Zen. Get the picture and share. I'd love to see him. What did you name him? Did you name him? There we go. My nose is itching. I'm probably getting oil paint on my face. Noodles, that's right, Noodles. I knew you said his name, but I couldn't think of it right off the bat. Hard to think and talk and do all that jazz. We had some thunderstorms roll through earlier today, and I was wondering if they were going to hang around for the live stream or not, because what's a live stream from me without some sort of storm or technical difficulty, right? How's it going, Ray? Did you get the results of your test yet, or are you still waiting for those? How did that go? If you don't mind, answering. If you do, it's not, I'm just making conversation, so don't feel like you have to answer. I just prayed for you, and I was wondering how it went, is all. But we are on live stream, so I totally respect not answering. You can see I'm trying to, I will get these in silhouette when it's a little less wet. But I figure putting a little bit of the shadow wonder why this is a little, my chat window looks a little wonky, doesn't it? Like fuzzy. Doesn't it look fuzzy, guys? Let me see. See if I can get it so it's not as fuzzy. I'm looking at my screen and I'm like, it seems a little fuzzy. Everything does, and I'm not sure why. So, are you going to be able to get the results today, or you got to wait for a little bit on that test that you had today? I was hoping to kind of get indications of like horned headdresses, because I was trying to anticipate what the prophets of Baal might look like. Um, and I don't know if I think this is probably too small. Oh, very good. That's good news. Oh, that would be awesome. I imagine those treatments can be very, very difficult. I think just getting those hints back of people again is starting to really shape up over here, I think. Oh, there you go. Nice to have those kinds of connections, huh, Ray? Oh. I think are you guys interested in my palette cam, or can I turn that off so I can try to make the chat look a little bit more clear? Let's see. Turn that off. We'll do the chat overlay. Let's see if I can do right 1080. Nope. Let's do 60. There. Does that look a little better? Hmm. Yep. I'm working on move that over a little bit because I want to be able to read, and it looks a little too wonky for me. We'll do that. Yeah, that does. I think that's better than what it was. I think the just putting those shadow figures back in is helping. Yeah. I'll eventually get palette cam down and get up close with a better. There we go. You guys aren't seeing that other side. Yeah, that looks a little better. The chat screen. Yeah, this is a little daunting. You know, you would think that, oh, this should be easy because there's not a lot of detail, but that's not true actually. You got to try to keep their the figures in proper proportion, and you got to get them in movement, and it's like, oh my gosh, and you got to do that without little detail. So again, on my palette, since I've turned that off, I figure I'll tell you what I have on my palette. I got titanium white, I got ground white, I got trans yellow oxide, I got trans red oxide, and I got oh my gosh, burnt umber. So yeah. I gotta get some more figures like over here. Yeah, sorry, I'm not talking a lot. I'm trying to focus, and it's not really. Trying to get figures that are more silhouetted than not. I'll definitely have to work on this uh, some more because it's definitely tricky. This is tricky. Tricky, I say. Did I lose people? All right. I'm just not seeing a lot of chitter chatter. Chitter chatter. Oh, well, thank you, honey. I'm hoping that this will turn out okay. Like I said, I'm nervous as all get out. Nervous, nervous, nervous. I'll have to really kind of do very deliberate touches of brightness on some of these for the brightness of the fire. Like I said, I'm blocking in figures, but man, this is not easy. I don't know what I was thinking doing this. I tell you. Okay, I'm just making sure because I never know if my connection suddenly dies and I'm sitting here talking to myself. Okay, that's always nice, huh? Sometimes you're your own best company. I don't know. Definitely need definitely need to is it starting to look like people? I guess I should probably. I'm afraid to do the palette cam so to show you guys the up close because it looks stupid. It looks stupid up close, but it'll show you how much of a struggle this is. So let me do palette cam here. Oops, whoops a daisy. Hold on a second. Palette cam. We'll do palette cam. All right. Hold on. Just turn this off for a moment. Okay. So there's the painting from a distance. And now I'm going to go up close. Not that I want to because it looks stupid. Like I said, these are going to be, they're very wet right now. They're just blocked in right now. But I did a little bit better. Elijah's got shoulders now, and even a little bit of a gesture of hands. So, and I do need to kind of get him outlined with brightness. This person's fallen on their knees running away, but you can't see any detail about that. This person's on their knees. So I am trying to get different, you know, almost like chaos, but there's not enough people to show chaos yet. So I'll put this back up. There we go. There we go. But yeah, so there's that. So you see what it's looking like, how I'm trying to get it to work. Oh yeah. Yeah, exactly, right? I do, like I said, I do feel like if I can just get these figures proportionally correct, then I think I could potentially render them well. I feel bad enough I'm trying to get just figures in there, but to have a whole bunch amongst each other, like, so they're like a crowd, that's going to really confuse things. And so I'm a little concerned about that. I gotta get them. They look like they're floating like ghosts right now on these darker areas. So I got to figure out a way to get them so that they're running on the ground and not floating like ghosts. Although they could be ghosts, they could be so scared they're like ghosts because the fire was just all consuming. Who knows? Of course, they weren't killed off by the fire, so that wouldn't make a lot of sense. So. Let's see here now with him, with Elijah, maybe I'll try to get him a little bit separate from what he's near. Because he's not afraid. He's not going to get singed. He's not going to get singed. I'm getting there. At least I'm getting figures there, but I don't know if they're successful yet. Maybe I should have kept it more simple, excuse me, and more figuratively, not realistically. I don't know. I know that when this dries a little bit and I can come in with the brights that will touch up some of these figures to kind of set them in place. I think that'll help. So I gotta get them. I wonder if I shouldn't. I don't know. I don't want to ruin this painting because I can't render these figures, but they are integral to the story. I've got to do it. So otherwise, it doesn't make a lot of sense. You just got to plug away, I guess. I appreciate that, honey. I have to say, it is not like these figures that are just really just gestures, really. They're really just gestures. These probably are a little bit more successful than the figures that I'm trying to render a little more realistically. I appreciate it, guys. It just a little sketchy for me, I think. A little sketchy. Okay. I think what I'll do is, I think I'm going to let this dry and then try to come back in with a more detailed brush and do some deliberate detail work, but not complete. Just enough to give the indication of a robe and then the lighting, things that are really going to pop. Want to get more people looking, indistinct, more the prophets of Baal, kind of a grouping. They're certainly not this close. These people didn't, start running like they should have. They're going to get consumed probably just by being too close. That doesn't look right. I think I will get this back. No. Trying to get a glaze of like orange yellow on those clouds, like a reflective orange yellow from the fire. but it's just coming out green. I don't like that idea. So I will fix that. Let's see here. How's your drawing going, Ray? I know you posted about it earlier today. Have you been able to work on it anymore, or you put it away for the day? Who was that Greek figure? It's a Greek figure, or is it a prophet? I'm going on memory, so I apologize if I'm not getting it right. I my former mother-in-law passed away in July. She passed away, unfortunately, on the Ron and I's first wedding anniversary, July 4th. And unfortunately, she passed away with not much fanfare because she was essentially recluse. Yeah, she was married. She was married, I guess, to my former father-in-law, but they weren't really living together. They were, for all intents and purposes, sharing a house, but they had long since given up the idea of being husband and wife, and she essentially pushed a lot of her family away, and so she was essentially living with her daughter, who had all kinds of issues, physical and mental, and she she was faced with having to lose her legs due to some sort of gangrenous type of issue. So she must have gotten injured in her leg and didn't seek help um, until it was too late. And they said the only way to save her was to um, amputate her legs. And she was in a situation where to suffer an amputation, she'd have to depend on others to help take care of her, and the others in her life would not have. And so she chose not to do that. It was the only way to save her. And so she didn't have much family left that I knew of. She had a sister that I guess she had pushed away, and I don't know the reasons behind that or whatever, but I knew her when I was married to her son back in the day, and the sister was a sweetheart lady. I don't know what happened, but as far as I can tell, my ex-husband and his father weren't connected to my former mother-in-law's sister in any way, shape, or form. And I'm like, have any of you reached out to Lauren? Because she ought to know about her sister. And of course, no one knew how to get a hold. None of them were in touch with her. And I wasn't, because I wasn't, married to him anymore. But I did do internet searching, and I found her. And this past weekend, I was able to reach out to her. And like I suspected, she did not know that her sister had passed. She only found out this past week from me. I was the bearer of bad news. And so she is in the grieving motion right now. She's like, "Do you know if they buried her?" I'm like, "I really don't know, because I'm not in the family. I haven't been." But I was pretty much the only one that cared enough to try to reach out and find her. So I had to be the person to kind of bring bad news to her. But she was grateful that I did reach out to her, because she hadn't been told. So I've never had to be the kind of person I've never had to do that before. So that was a little disconcerting, frankly. So yeah, it's a sad situation, because that was a grandmother that my kids knew, although she was very reclusive even still. They did manage to visit her when she was in the hospital, but she was heavily sedated at that point. So yeah, kind of sad. Uh, I ended up doing a kind of a online eulogy for her, because she didn't have a funeral, she didn't have a service, she didn't have any of that. Um, and I just, despite whatever issues that she and I had when I was married into the family, no one should ever pass away and not be remembered, in my estimation, if it's possible to do it. So I did an online kind of eulogy without lying or anything. I just sad. you know I worry about my own mom. As you guys know, she's my mom. If you were praying for her, thank you. She's doing better, but she's in a physical therapy that she's not happy about. The facility's kind of not a great facility. I've had to kind of call in a couple of times and give them what for, because my my brother wasn't doing it. My brother's not being her advocate right now. I guess if my brother reaches out to me and says, "What did you say that for?" then I'll know he's watching my live streams, but I doubt it. I know I wasn't really supposed to be working on the fire, but I wanted to. So, but anyway, let me go ahead and go back to my solo thing. Let's see, chat over. Do that. But yeah, it's not exactly done, but I made some progress with it. I'm gonna have to keep at it uh, until I feel comfortable. I've got enough figures and enough action going on, but not enough to take away from the main feature here. The main feature being the fire column. But yeah, I got to keep working on each side. Maybe just keep slowly working on it. Part of me wants to hurry up and try to finish this, but hurrying is probably not a good idea. So, but yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's unfortunate, you know, what happened. I mean, I haven't. They chose to disconnect from me a long time ago when I divorced from that family altogether. Um, and that's okay with me. You know, they would have been okay if they wanted to stay connected, but those things don't really happen when you divorce out of a family. It was very dysfunctional, still is. Um, but but in any case, I'm sad for Lauren, but they weren't talking, so she's going to miss her sister and not going to be able to say things to her sister that she wanted to say because it's too late. The whole too late scenario. So seize the day. They say if you've got family that you really should reach out to. None of us are guaranteed to tomorrow. You know. Um, Especially if other family members are affected. You want to maybe mend fences and reach out whenever you can, you know. But in any case, I don't want to end on a sad note, but I'm not done with this, but I've made progress, I think. And so I'll just keep working on a little bit at a time. I need to start figuring out the next painting to get started, maybe get the background going and a composition. So I got to figure that out because I do need to create more paintings for my tent if I am approved for the Arts Fest in September, because early September I'm going to be traveling to go visit my adult children. So I think the first Wednesday, maybe the second Wednesday, maybe both, I may not be live streaming because I'll be either traveling or visiting with people. So I think it's the second Wednesday. The second Wednesday of September, I'm going to be on the road. So I may not be able to live stream. I might live stream from my adult son's apartment, who's joined in the live stream before in the past, Nicholas, because I'll be staying with him most of the time. So we might live stream from his apartment on that Wednesday. We'll see. But as things solidify, I'll let y'all know. But I will probably miss at least one Wednesday in September for sure. But September is going to be pretty busy. So, but hey Kim, I'm getting ready to close out shop here. But everybody, have a good night. Thanks for joining in. No glitches tonight, praise the Lord, and no storms throughout the live stream. So yay! I may try to stream again on the weekend. I don't know. We'll see. If I do, it'll be Sunday. Like I said, on Saturday, I'm going to be working on the painting that I was working on in collaboration with my young 10-year-old nephew. So hopefully he and I can finish that on Saturday. But I'll be back for sure next Wednesday. That's the plan. So, and if I'm working on this, great. If I'm working on a new painting or starting a new painting, you'll find out probably that day. Anyway, have a good night. Have a good rest of the week and have a good weekend. Good night, everybody.